glass out of the furnace onto a blowpipe. He's holding a hollow steel tube, and that's the glass, right? It's blowing, it's moving, it's grooving, right? It'll drip right off of there if we let it. Our furnace is running at 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit, which is right around 1,200 Celsius. So the glass is actually melting hotter than lava in the bottom of that tank. Shaking it up with a block, which is a wet wooden spoon. Thank you, there it is. So it just forces everything nice and round and even. That's what we want to blow the bubble into, because we want our bubble to be nice and round and even. In a moment, Mikey will blow into the pipe, cap it with his finger, trapping the air. Watch the glass, everybody. The air gets hot and expands. It's physics. Check it out. The air's in the pipe, it's trapped, it's getting hot, it's expanding. There it goes in a second. There it is.
Thank you.
So there's the bubble. We're hollow. Now we could make like a cup with that bubble, a 12-ounce cup, before it gets too thin. If it gets too thin, it wants to break more easily during the process. So making something bigger today, this is the scale that we work in. This is all the stuff we've made today so far. So something about that big. We're gonna need more glass, like you will gather out of the furnace again. We have to build it up in layers. It's just far too molten to just scoop out a big ball at once. So we gather what we can to start, shape it up, start your bubble, and then wait, like Mikey is. Wait for it to get cold, stiffen, solidify, so we can successfully scoop more glass out of there without the bubble melting off the pipe or twisting and collapsing, so we just wait for stability. Now, I want you all to keep in mind that if I say this piece is cold at any point in time, we can't touch it. It's still like 1,000 Fahrenheit. Cold means not moving, right? So we got our second gather of glass. That's all we'll use today aside from the color. The color is also made of glass, just crushed pigmented glass. The color is coming from different metal oxides. Going through a green and then a turquoise and a dark blue. All the Fritz a little chunky that we're using today, we can buy it fine like salt, or even crushed finer than that like powdered sugar, and then it can range into just giant half-inch chunks, melt down into bigger and smaller spots all over the piece. We can also buy it as a bar, holding a chunk of solid color bar. If you have your clear starter bubble, you'd hold the bubble up in the air, drip it on there, spread it around the sides. We're not doing a color overlay today. I like to show you that too. So Mikey's melting that in. We're not gathering any clear out of the bottom, we're just heating it up in the top. Right? Bottom is filled with glass, top is filled with fire. Anytime the bubble's too cold to shape, we stick it in the fire. Get it moving again. And this is a really nice trim bit, actually. These are the colors we're using today. Right? They will look a little different when it's hot. Color hides in the heat, but tomorrow when it's actually cooled off to room temperature, it'll look just like this. Using a bigger block, wet wooden spoon again, even the shape out. You'll blow in there. Blowing makes it bigger and thinner, like any other bubble you've ever seen. And then he's gonna come over here to a steel top table, roll the tip across there. It's gonna get a lot colder where it's touching, and of course it's hotter where it's not. When we blow, it inflates most where it's hottest. Stays still where it's colder. So the area attached to the blowpipe is getting thinner, while the tip stays thicker. It's probably about 1 centimeter thick at the pipe right now, around 1 inch thick off the end. Now as we blow, this will get thinner and thinner and thinner, but never too thin. This is the bottom where it's gonna sit on the table. If it ever gets too thin there, it will break at the end when we're trying to take it off the pipe. So it's really critical to our process to ensure it's thicker there. So I'm ready to blow. Blow it. Filling that bubble up using a couple different tools. I'll show them all to you when he takes the next heat. Right now he's carving in a line up at the top. This constriction will let us break it off the pipe when we're ready. Score mark, break point, gotta have it. Doesn't matter what you're making. Vase, bowl, octopus, doesn't matter. You need that constriction or you're stuck. All right, a couple of tools. The blades are called the jacks. This pad is the newspaper. Right? Seattle Times, folded up, soaked in water. You can see right there. Or you want to touch it with your hands, you can't, but the paper gets it really close. The jacks make the jack line, the constriction here. Mikey's going to use the blades in different ways throughout the process. The jacks are our most versatile tool. If you challenge me to make a piece of glass with one tool, I'd pick the jacks. Right? You could get it done. It'd probably be a little less refined, but you could make something. You know, a thing Glassblowers like to do, we get together and we party in a studio. We play a game called Magic Stick. So you have to make a cup. It's like a non-glass blowing tool. So I had to make a cup with a chicken tender once. Pretty tricky. That was hard. Flipped it for style points. Squeezing with the paper. The flip is not for style points. That was a joke. It's to stretch it out fast. Right? You can get the bubble hot and hold it down. It'll stretch slow. If you flip it, adding momentum, it stretches fast. Put a little more water on there for Mikey. He's getting smoked out there. This paper is new. We folded it up today. The newer it is, the smokier it is, and a couple more days it won't be so bad, and then a couple more days, after that it'll be too thin, we gotta make a new one. It goes through that cycle. But sometimes you just go home, smell like a campfire. Our own respective backyards. His is in a barn, mine's in a garage. Yeah. Got little studios at home. Shaping that up at the bottom, really changing that shape down there. I have no idea what he's making right now.
Mushroom. They wanted me to
Oh, a mushroom inspired thing, I see.
Yeah, go ahead. Blow.
Blowing, on. We all have shapes that we gravitate towards, and that's why I was saying it's not something I typically see him making. Starting to use a dry wooden paddle to press that area flat so it can sit on the table. Okay. All right, the bottom is done. Mikey wants to work on the top, so I need to make the punty. P-U-N-T-Y, the punty is the pipe we'll transfer it onto. We need to flip this around 180 degrees so he can open it. So I have a solid steel stick. It is much smaller than the blowpipe. Little bit of glass on it, shaping it into a dome. Sort of like a Q-tip shape. Once it's ready, right shape, right temperature, I'm gonna serve this to Mikey. He'll stick it on the bottom, break it off the blowpipe, and I'll catch it. If we do it right. You know, if either one of us is too cold, it won't stick. The piece will hit the floor, and that will end the demo early. So, big round of applause if it works. Same thing if it doesn't.
Okay, I'm ready. Ready?
I am ready.
Ready? Ready.
All right, here we go. Dropping water right there. Add stress. Tap the pipe. Here. Nicely done. During the transfer. And that's okay. That's how we learn. I was 16. He would describe a hippie with like a handmade studio, and he was like, oh, if that guy can do it, I can do it. So he came back to Seattle, took a class at the Pilchuck Glass School, which was founded by Dale Chihuly in 1971. Took his first glass blowing class, fell in love with it, worked in studios around town. He's been working with glass for 20 years. So he did on-the-job learning, right? You don't need a degree. You really don't. I have one. I'm glad I went to school. I had fun there. But it's just the more you do it, the better you get. Kind of thing.
Did you reuse the glass at the break?
If it's colorful, we can't put the scraps in the furnace because we want to keep the glass clear in there. So it's like our blank canvas. So the scrappy bits, I think the best way to use them is just like put them in a mold in a kiln and fuse it down into different objects. All right, we changed the shape of the paper a little bit. I'm gonna help out with this paddle. Mikey's gonna blow into it. Watch, the top's gonna poof out. And he says, almost, getting there. So this tool oven, which will let us slowly cool the glass overnight. If we leave it out in the air, it'll cool too quickly and shatter. which is called thermal shock. I'm sorry if I'm blocking your view. I'm helping Mikey keep things straight right now with the paddle.
Alright, that looks like a mushroom to me.
There it is. It's a holding temperature, so all day long we'll load the glass in there. I showed you earlier, right? It won't move or crack, it just hangs out and stays the same. And then when we're done, later tonight we'll send this down. The glass will slowly cool over 12 hours. We can take it out tomorrow and it's ready to go into the world. And then all the work we make during our demos goes for sale either next door in the Space Needle or next door in the IMAX Theater. And 100% of the proceeds goes into supporting our local arts community, so galleries, scholarships, and artist residency opportunities. Collaboration with a man named Pino Signoretto. He's not with us anymore, but he's like the world's best glass sculptor ever, essentially, except maybe this other guy, but that doesn't matter. You know, he spent his whole life, he could sculpt. Say most people kind of live in one area. You make vessels, or you're a sculptor, sort of thing. But we can talk more about that if you want to come up and chat.